Township Park District Board of Commissioners meeting is called to order at 6 p.m. Commissioner Ayers, can you please lead the pledge?
Sure.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ayers.
Here.
Hurtado. Here. Kazmark. Here. Lehman.
Here.
Newton.
Here.
Poling. Here. Stein. Absent.
Is there anyone that would like to make a public comment this evening? Nobody's jumping up, so we'll go forward to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
A second.
Okay, a motion was made by Commissioner Hurtado and seconded by Commissioner Ayers. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, okay, roll call.
Hurtado.
Yes.
Ayers.
Yes.
Kazmark.
Yes.
Newton. Poling.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And we're on the way to staff reports.
Sorry, I got a couple just quick bullets. Last Thursday and Friday, we had our Journey to the North Pole events. A lot of kudos go out to Misty Bartlett and the park staff, Jennifer Lopez, and the division managers. Due to the difference in weather, having the non-typical warm weather and right after some snow and a little bit of misting, we had to reroute the event because it normally goes through the woods, but due to the weather, it's going to be all underwater. So they worked very hard that day before and that day to diligently move the event. The event had 382 people this year, 86 up from where we were last year. We had added an additional second night to start increasing the wait list, so we're not turning people away from the event. Monday was the Active Adult Luncheon, formerly the Senior Luncheon. We just started rebranding some of our stuff to that Active Adult title. It had a great turnout of 161 participants. We would like to say a thank you to Representative Batnick for his sponsorship, and also to the Plainfield Township Fire Protection District for the usage of the facility at no charge. So that's always a plus. The district sent out 124 Christmas cards for Operation Care Package. These are the cards that went out to the soldiers that were prepared at the Patriotic Picnic. This upcoming Friday at 12:30 p.m. we have our district staff and board holiday luncheon for anybody who would like to attend. Please feel free, it's here at the community center. And then finally, as we move towards 2016, that will be our 50th year anniversary, and we are going to do a lot of push on what we're trying to present out there. Some of the things that is in front of you, you all have your shirts if ordered, you have your pin as well, so as we start wanting to recognize that we are 50 years old. And we also put out, which I'm not going to go through in detail, but wanted to make you aware of some of the events as they're coming up and what we're going to be doing to celebrate our 50th year anniversary with a plan of action. And one of the little things, you'll see some of these at some of our key parks. We want to make sure the three goals of our efforts this year are awareness, recognition, and celebration for the fact that all what we've done over the last 50 years. If there are no other questions of me, we can move on.
Okay, item B, Director of Recreation.
Tonight, I would like to welcome Jill Mukashina from Lily Cass Special Recreation Association, as it is time for budgeting, and LCSRA is part of our special rec budget. Jill usually comes this time of year and does a little bit of a presentation regarding the budget and a summary of the events and activities from the past. So, Jill?
Good evening, I'm Representative Finley.
Would you like me to read your banner, Jill?
Jill, if you want to, no, it's right there.
So just some highlights for our 2016 budget that's coming up. Looking at some overall tax dollars as a breakdown. In the budget, you'll see that Bowen Breck puts in $706,730. You'll notice that also includes all of the capital and ADA expenses for the district. They run through the same fund. So these are all of the items that are pulled out, the $298,826. Bottom line contribution from both of our park districts, Bowling Brook being at $407,904 and Plainfield being at $385,000 for 2016. Numbers have been looking good through 2014 and into 2015. As you can see, for 2015, those are not final numbers yet. Those were through summer with winter camps coming up and registration still happening for some of our sports. Fall has not been calculated into this yet. Typically, I come middle of the spring, early spring, and do another review of final numbers and year-end budget. So we expect those numbers to increase a little bit. But we're doing a nice job capturing a few new households and expanding on some of the programs that we're offering to our families. If you'll notice, I did leave you guys a new brochure so you can see what we're offering. And if you look at the nice little green circle on it, you'll notice for 2016 that we have implemented a non-resident rate for participants who use our services that are not a resident of LCSRA. Again, both Bolingbrook and Plainfield are an extension of LCSRA, or LCSRA is the extension of the two park districts. So anyone that lives within the park district of Plainfield or Bolingbrook are considered our LCSRA residents. When I talk about my residents, that's our family here, that's our family in Bolingbrook. So, non-residents will be able to register for programs 2 weeks after the start of registration for residents. Registration started today for residents, so on December 23rd, non-residents will be able to register for programs. The other thing that we're going to bring to the table in 2016 is a little bit of technology to add to our programs. We definitely find in the schools and with some of our kids bring to the programs themselves iPads or other forms of technology that they use to communicate or interact with each other. So what we'll be doing is looking to get a dedicated iPad and laptop. The iPad will definitely be used in our high functioning group to work on our social skills, and then in our autism program series that we have on Saturdays, which started out as one program and it's now a series of 3 to 4 programs, and we're looking to expand that to break that out by age groups. So we started with about 5 participants when we launched it about a year ago, and we now have about 13 people in the program, and we're looking to divide up those age groups. And my staff, Gina, who's overseeing those programs, has had a lot of conversations, had some outreach with families that are looking for those autism-specific programs. So we're hoping in the next year that we can increase that a little bit more. So we're really excited to add the technology piece and component to that program. That will help them with their social skills and their verbal communication if that's something they struggle with. The laptop is going to be a wonderful addition to our cruisers program. We currently have 2 sections of that. The first one has 20 adults in it, and we have a wait list of about 7 people on that, and quite a few more phone calls because we have a few people aging out of school, especially if you're at the academy that are interested in getting in, as well as our lower functioning group that has about 6 or 7 participants in it right now that do a lot more internal and local events because of their ability level. So that laptop will give them the ability to learn how to plan their programming. Today, they're going to go do their service project in the morning, then they're going to pick somewhere for lunch. How do they do that? They can take turns, sit down 2 or 3 at the computer, do the search, find out what's close. So the goal of that program is really giving them the skills to be able to sit down and plan out independently what they can do for recreation, what resources are in the community. So we're very excited about that addition to our program as well. Some highlights. We are currently hosting 14 different Special Olympic sports. Medal count for this year currently is at 124, 60 gold medals, 37 silver, and 27 bronze. So we have had an awesome year, a lot of fun watching the participants and athletes be successful, and most importantly, have fun with what they're doing. Day camp, jump-starting the cycle again. We've noticed that in the last 2 to 3 years, our teen group has been split up to 13 to 17 and then 18 to 21 because it's a big group. Some of those kids we captured at a younger age. So now it's going back with the school districts, finding those younger kids again and getting them into the program. We find a lot of families who do maybe swim lessons in day camp, and that's all they do with us, but they really love that day camp program. We're happy that we've had, I think it's 7 years now, we've been at Lincoln Elementary School here in Plainfield as our home base for camp. It's a great facility. We have it to ourselves. And we're looking forward to being back there this summer. And then what we've started to do since the summer school offering has been shortened is adding additional weeks where we still meet at the school but just get on the bus and go for field trips. So we can extend that camp experience in the summer even though we can't be in the school. Additionally, talking a little bit about cruisers again that I mentioned before, we are going to break that up into 3 groups. We're looking to pull out some of our higher functioning kids that we can do a 1-to-6 ratio that are ambulatory, so that we can go do a few more options and different activities with those kids. Having a larger middle group where it is definitely a mixed group. That way we're bringing people in off the waiting list and we're able to develop and do more in that program. It's definitely something that has grown in the last 2 years. Again, it started with 10 kids in the summer as kind of like a summer camp for adults. And now we have a year-round 3-day program for adults. Also looking to add some one-day adult trips and then some additional health and fitness programs in there. Inclusion numbers. It looks like 2014 was a little peak for us. We're down just a little bit in 2015. The summer is definitely keeping us very busy still with all of the day camps that are run by the Park District. Again, these numbers are only through October. We do have some more to add to them through the end of the year. And again, with winter camp coming up, we've had quite a few inclusion requests come in for that. But again, the program's going strong, and I think LCSRA and the districts are working well together to make sure that we're servicing our kids. Early childhood, we're looking to add some new interactive programs for the 3 to 6-year-olds. That's an age group where we hear from parents that there's not a lot for them. So we're looking to hone in on those. Youth and teen, aside from just doing the basic social programs of a social club where they get together on Friday nights and the athletic programs, we're looking to add the creative and cognitive. So your art class, your skill-based classes. High functioning and autism, again, these are 2 groups that have grown from a small group and really developed over this past year. So looking to break it up by age group, hosting it maybe on 2 different nights, and again, splitting it up and being able to take in more kids and service those. The other event that we're looking at doing is filling in some family events. It's the opportunity for the parents to come hear something educational while we have a program going on at the same time to take care of the kids, and they don't have to worry about daycare, and it's a nice little program at the same time. As well as just the opportunity for those families to get together and network. We find sometimes when the parents get together and have the ability to talk and connect with each other, it's good for them too. So we're hoping to be able to foster and do a little bit more of that. Just some positive impact of our programming. This little guy here is Jason. He's in our autism program. He's a runner. He doesn't talk much. A few interesting things going on with him. When we walk through the building, he's a 2-on-1. This is him out in the community. He's not only asking for what he needs or wants with staff, very basic 1 or 2 words, but he's communicating. He's able to go out with the group in the community now, and he's not running off. So we're really excited about that, the consistency of the staff and the scheduling of the program. It really has helped him be successful, and we're really happy to see that. We did a running club. We were talking a little bit about the health. So we had a group, we call this Parkies Pacers. They trained for 2 different races, and they participated in both. You can see Luke in the middle. He's one of our Plainfield residents. He actually finished the 5K in 36 minutes and 41 seconds. And then they went to the Scarecrow Scramble a couple weeks later, shaved off a little bit on his time, and actually finished 3rd place in his age group, with everyone that age. So it was really awesome. We had a lot of great volunteers that were one-on-one runners with them for the day, so they could all go at their own pace. So it was another great example of getting in the community and participating. Then just something fun. We were able to go to Bears training camp, and Dan just got to hang out with Kyle Long for like 15, 20 minutes, afterward. He just hanging out with the group, talking with it. So an experience I haven't had, so I'm kind of jealous, but something great for these kids that they can hold on to when they get those pictures. So these are some of those fun events we love to do and are gracious enough to have that opportunity to do. Another great story with Brian. Brian does our Friday Friends. This is our high-functioning group, so those kids that seem awkward, they don't quite fit in the developmental disability category, but they don't quite fit in with the regular kids. Brian has a hard time making friends. He's been doing Friday Friends for a couple seasons. Brian was at the park with his mom one day, made a friend, started talking. Him and the friend set up a play date with each other. So Brian made a new friend at a park in his community, and we like to think that he used those skills that he learned at Friday Friends to do that. He was so excited to come back and tell Miss Gina that he made a friend at the park and that he has a play date. So those skills that we're trying to teach them are really, really working well. And the last one is just a picture of the Cruisers group. One of the fun activities that they did and invited staff in the building to was a talent show. So we had some singers, some dancers, some rappers, and we even had our power lifter showing off his workout skills. So whatever they wanted to do. So a lot of fun things happening. a lot of fun stuff to look forward to in 2016. Any questions that you guys have for me?
You mentioned that you have a wait list for some of the programs. You talked about that one.
Oh, yes, the cruisers program, the adult program.
When do you decide that you want to add another session?
Really, it has to do with spacing and some of our vehicle options because they are in the community. Depending on the group, we obviously have to staff it appropriately. So it just depends on spacing, how we can break out the program. What we're looking to do are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is our higher functioning larger group currently. And what we're looking to do is to break that into two and have them be able to share the facility of the vehicle, so they may have to rotate days or have a different dedicated vehicle space for it. So we're being creative with what we can do.
Also, do you offer like community referrals for families that need like specialists or something like that? Is that part of your mission?
If we have the information, we'll pass it along.
But you're not collecting it necessarily.
We do when we come across it. When we go to the Ability Expo, that's hosted in town, we'll collect information and we have a file.
Okay.
I had a parent ask before, do you recommend them? Would you trust them? We're like, I have the information. I don't know really of the doctor, or Mrs. So-and-so who does our programs absolutely loves her pediatrician, so she gave us their name in case anyone was interested. So we don't have a lot of it, but we try to refer out what we can when we do have it.
Great job. Great job, you and your whole staff. It's impressive.
I have a wonderful staff, so thank you.
Thank you very
I
much.
appreciate it.
Next on the agenda is committee comments and capital and development met. Commissioner.
Yeah, we'll defer to the action item C.
Okay. And then Commissioner Ayers, did you have anything for finance and liability that you wanted to share?
We're gonna go over it, but we just had a nice meeting, me, Maureen, Carlo, and I, and we talked about some of the smaller amounts for the budget, as well as going over some Derma stuff, so there's a lot of good discussions.
Excellent.
Good stuff.
Thank you. Next is action items. Up to action item A, Resolution 2015-08, a resolution authorizing member in the Park District Risk Management Agency Property Casualty Program.
As we've discussed about in the past, pursuing the possibility of becoming a member of PDERMA, and looking at all possibility, we have continued on. As of today, PDERMA has their agency, or their board of directors is willing to offer us the property casualty program membership. So they've authorized us on their end, looking at it. Our current premium, if we include the nose coverage, which would then give us a 1-year look-back period for any liability that might happen in that might have happened in that time, would be for the first year would be $149,722. $133,951 would be our actual agency's premium. $15,771 would be the nose coverage addition. This is as opposed to our current premiums that we are paying for workman's comp and liability of $203,825. With all this, the two things that would happen is we would continue to have iParks until 7/14/2016, just because pulling out of the program would not serve us any benefit. We would not see any refund. There's not really going to be a good time at which there would be even break, just because of our workers' compensation and our liability coverage do not line up. They're about 7 months apart. So right now, we are expiring our workers' comp. We would carry that, but one of the positives of continuing on with iParks for that 7 months is once we cancel our policy with iParks, it's a claims paid policy trigger. So therefore, any open claims or claims that would fall during their time, they would not pay at that point. So this will give us a little bit of a gap to go through that period. The only other thing is with PDERMA, and this would be regardless of any time that we would have an inception point, if that was the direction the board would want to go, any potentially uncovered employment practices liability, if a claim occurred prior to our inception with PDERMA, would not be covered. It would be at the district's expense. So that's a general PDERMA practice regardless. And we do sign some papers saying what we know and what we don't know. Currently, right now, all claims that we have had that have come to our attention have been processed with iPark, so we have no claims that have not at least been processed through iParks at this time. Well, you want to make the motion, then we start discussion?
Okay. Is there a motion that the Park Board of Commissioners approve Resolution 2015-08, a resolution authorizing membership in the Park District Risk Management Agency Property Casualty Program, and authorize Executive Director Capalbo to execute any documentation required?
Make that motion.
I think Hurtado was first.
I'll second.
A motion was made by Commissioner Hurtado and seconded by Commissioner Ayers. Any discussion?
I just have a question. Given what you had just said, following from that, what is the point of the nose coverage?
The nose coverage, so once we actually, there's the possibility that we could have a claim that comes in under the statute of limitation before we cover with, or before we cancel with iParks. So say that accident happened today, and we don't know about it, but somebody puts the claim in through July 1. What would then happen is, as of July 14th when we covered, Padermo would not cover that because it didn't fall under their inception. But iParks, that once we cancel the policy on the 14th, anything that's outstanding, et cetera, is done. They cut right there at that point. So they don't pay out a claim if it hasn't been paid out prior to cancellation. So we would actually be covered under Padermo by that aspect at this point.
Okay. So the claim for today.
And that's just an example. There isn't
Right,
one
I
like.
know, I mean, that would
Sure.
be covered because of the nose coverage.
Yes.
Otherwise, we would be in trouble.
And we'd be at risk.
Okay. I wasn't clear because of the overlap was so great. I didn't.
The overlap is just, we have some claims that are still outstanding, but there's, like, we've filed claims, but nothing more has come about them. Those are the ones that, if they still fall in the statute of limitation, we want to have some coverage for those. We're anticipating, like, right now, we don't anticipate any claims that we know of, and we want to have that little bit of overlap. And it doesn't benefit us anyway, right now, to cancel out of iParks, just because of the fact that there would be no refund on remaining portion.
No other discussion? Roll call?
Hurtado?
Yes.
Ayers?
Yes.
Kesmark?
Yes.
Newton?
Yes.
Poling? Yes. Ludeman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item B, Resolution 2015-09, a resolution acknowledging the Plainfield Township Park District's recognition and dedication to the loss control and risk management principles of the Park District Risk Management Agency.
It's just following up on previous resolution, they tie together.
So is there a motion that the Park Board of Commissioners approve Resolution 2015-09, acknowledging the Plainfield Township Park District's recognition and dedication to the loss control and risk management principles of the Park District Risk Management Agency?
I so move.
Okay, a motion was made by Commissioner Poling and seconded by Commissioner Hurtado. Is there any discussion on that? No, okay, roll call.
Poling? Yes. Hurtado?
Yes.
Ayers?
Yes.
Kesmark?
Yes.
Newton?
Yes.
Ludeman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item C, Capital Improvement Plan Fiscal Year 2016. Is there a motion that the Park Board Commissioners approve the Capital Improvement Plan for fiscal year 2016 with funding allocation of $2,289.75 as presented?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion was made by Commissioner Newton and seconded by Commissioner Ayers. Is there any discussion?
Actually, we got a small presentation on this that Jen will
Okay,
go
great.
over. One of the things, corresponds with our capital plan that we had previously done, and then Jen will go through some of the other aspects of how the capital plan's full development comes about.
So this is just a brief overview of some of the capital projects that we completed in 2015A. We did the seal coating and the restriping of the admin lot, Eaton Preserve. We did the parking lot and all the trailways over at Eaton Preserve, Val Stevens parking lot and Van Horn 1. The pathway over at Electric Park, we were able to, when we bid that particular project out as both asphalt and concrete, the difference between the two of those turned out to be something like $4,000. So that project has been completed in concrete. We were able to replace 37 trees over at Dunmore, Village Green, Normantown Equestrian Center, and Van Horn Woods for the EAB. So these were some trees that had been removed in the past. They were slated to be replaced. They hadn't been stump run. There wasn't any stump grinding done at that time, so we went ahead and did all of the stump grinding also. And then we also did some light pole replacements over at Van Horn Woods. If you're over in the parking lot over there, we've been replacing the light poles over there. There are 2 damaged poles that we are in the process. They were received when they came in on the shipment, that they were damaged. We're in the process of getting that resolved at this point, but the other poles have been installed. There are a few projects that are going to carry over into the next year. One would be the rec admin front desk remodel. So basically, we are going to be remodeling the front desk to accommodate for ADA, so dropping a section of the countertop and also improving that overall presence as you walk into the building. The Intech shelters, we're going to be building those this winter. We're looking at building them inside one of the shops over on the north side and then taking them out as soon as we can. Maintenance vehicles, there were a series of maintenance vehicles that have been ordered, and we're just waiting for those to come in. And the DuPage River Trail Bridge. That project, we're starting with the final engineering approval process. They are reviewing the bridge schematic shop designs during the winter time, and that project is slated to start in the spring of 2016. And then as we move forward, looking at 2016, we take a look at part of the selection process for approving projects for the 2016 is to pull in projects that have been kind of pending over the years, so they've been in our CIP over the last couple of years. Take a look at those projects, see if they still need to be done, if it is something that could be moved out a little bit further. Also take a look at projects that have been indicated in our in our master plan that we've been working with Todd's company, Design Perspectives, with. Age and condition of some of our products, so in some of our assets, so playgrounds is probably the one I can speak the most about. Typically, your average lifespan is 18 to 20 years on it, so looking at those playgrounds that are approaching that 18 to 20 years and trying to stage out how we're going to replace those. And then this year, we also established a capital development committee made out of Park District employees, and we've requested that employees for those smaller capital projects go through a submittal process. So they submit a form with their CIP request. And then the Capital Development Committee will get together and review those kind of smaller projects and see if we can still budget for those in the overall CIP. And then always grant opportunities. There's grants and additional funding. It's always key. So some of the projects that we're looking at doing this year, and I'll go over them a little bit in more detail as we go through this, but finance software. I know that's one that was in last year's budget. My understanding is they've gotten pretty close to figuring out which company we're going to go with, and we'll be moving forward with that this year. The phone system for the Park District is over 19 years old, and we've had a series of issues, my understanding, of years with that system, and then also being able to communicate from office to office. So if somebody in the admin building needs to contact the shop, they actually have to dial a full phone number. There's not an extension, you have to dial the desk numbers. So one of the things we're looking at this year is switching over to a VoIP system, and with that comes a whole series of upgrades. So there's new switches, new cabling, the VoIP, new firewall. The Parks Department is also looking at purchasing a management software. The company we're looking at right now is called Facility Do. We've looked at 3 total different packages, and that's the one we think we're going to go with at this point. What that will let us do is track work orders, track inventory, monitor the progress on those work orders. So once a work order is submitted, it doesn't go away until it's actually been taken care of, and it's something we can kind of track internally. It also will allow us to track things, inventory within the Parks Department. So are we behind on our oil orders? Have we tapped out with currently we don't have a tracking system for that. Some of the park improvements we're looking at doing this year, once again, the DuPage River Trail Bridge. Some of the playgrounds that are coming up would be the Grand Prix Tot Lot, which is located kind of on the southeast side of town. And we're also looking at the Walker's Grove Playground, which is kind of on the north end of town. I apologize, I had a map made and I don't think I brought that slide in. Northwest Community Park, we are working to take the tennis courts out of that particular park at this time.